Greetings, dear viewers. So, Starcraft 2, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure many viewers know that it's a multiplayer game. It can be fairly competitive. And it's a very fun multiplayer game, but it seems like there may be a barrier to entry when it comes to playing multiplayer Starcraft. And it may very well seem, and it is the case, that the game has a very steep learning curve getting into it. But did you know that Blizzard has added all sorts of features to the game to make it easier for you to get into the multiplayer game? First of all, there is a tutorial button in the menu, and I think this has been around for a while, maybe since Wings of Liberty, since the game started. But there is that to teach you the very basics of the game. There is also, whenever you hit the multiplayer tab, or go to multiplayer up here, there's a training section, a versus AI section. So training lets you choose 3 different modes of training. You've got Stage 1, Stage 2, and Stage 3, and each one is designed to teach you something. In Stage 1, you have basic units only. In Stage 2, you get advanced ground units, and in Stage 3, you get all available multiplayer units throughout training. And you get to choose which race you want to play as here. That's the first bit of fun that you can have with the Starcraft multiplayer game in the training area, is to make a little rhythm with the race selection thing here. That's just funny to me. Alright, let's do it 2 more times. Okay, so anyway, that's the first bit of fun that you can have with it. In any case, you've got training, you've got versus AI. After you finish your training, you can go versus AI, in which case you're playing what is basically a skirmish match that is essentially the multiplayer game of StarCraft. You got all the units, you've got everything available to you, and you can play versus AI. And again, you choose your race, and you play against increasingly difficult computer-controlled opponents, and if you lose too many games, it brings the difficulty down. So you can play through this versus AI, and there is like an experience bar, or a bar that fills up every time you beat one of your opponents in versus AI, and once you fill that up, if you feel inclined to, you can go to unranked play, which is against actual players. But by this point, you've done the tutorial in the menu, you've done several training missions, you've played a lot of versus AI games, and now you're playing against unranked players up here. And you notice how it's all going from left to right. And you can just stop here if you want to and just continue to play unranked games against people who are also playing unranked games, and you're having a good time just playing StarCraft. It's a really fun game to play. Or you can move up to ranked if you want to go even further, and now you're playing on the ladder against a little bit more competitive scene. Same game, just a little bit more competitive, so you can rank yourself, or you can see where you rank on the ladder. And if you want to go even further than that, then there's the tournament section, where there are tournaments that are scheduled. These are automated tournaments against several other players, and you play through these with, let's see what it says here, win tournaments to collect trophies for your profile, and to earn an in-game trophy which displays in your base for the rest of the season. Note, tournament matches affect ranked play. So, tournaments and ranked are kind of the end game as far as playing StarCraft, or as far as your training in StarCraft, I guess is concerned. It's really the start of things. Or unranked is really the start of actual multiplayer play. And then your preference right there is not really the end game, it's just playing StarCraft at that point. And hopefully, by the time you've done the tutorial, you've gone through training, you've played versus AI games, and you've done some unranked things, you feel comfortable playing the game and are just enjoying StarCraft. So there are a lot of ways to get into the game, or there's a fairly easy to get into progression as far as that is concerned. And I want to do a little bit of a series where we go through this stuff. I'm going to do a series of videos where we go through this stuff, and we're going to start out here with the tutorial. So this is sort of like a newbie guide to the game. So we're going to hit tutorial, and we're going to go through that and see what that's all about. Alright, had to adjust the volume there real quick. Tutorial. Welcome to StarCraft 2, a strategy game of economy and base management where you command your armies to gain control of the battlefield and defeat your enemies. You may repeat this tutorial as often as you'd like before leading your armies to glory in the single-player campaigns. Good luck, Commander. So this is the tutorial before you even get started with the single-player version of the game, if you wanted to go that route. And I would recommend playing this tutorial and then playing through the whole storyline of StarCraft 2, if you are so inclined. You don't have to play through the single-player campaign if you want to. If multiplayer is all you really want to do, then going straight into training from here would still be okay. Though I would recommend playing the single-player campaign, because that is even more experience you're gaining with the game, plus you're getting to experience a really good story. In any case, here we go, tutorial.
Welcome to the Dominion Future Commander Training Simulation module. Here you will learn to use our interface and issue orders to your forces. Begin by left-clicking on a unit to select it.
And here we have a Marine.
Who wants some?
Information about the selected unit is displayed at the bottom of the screen. Additionally, the commands for this unit are displayed in the bottom right. It is time to issue a command. Right-click the beacon to order the Marine to move to it.
So now that we have the Marine selected by left-clicking on it, we can right-click to move.
Aye, aye, sir.
Well done, recruit. Next, you will learn the attack move order. This is another way to instruct the Marine to move, but he will automatically attack any enemies along the way. Give the attack move order now. Press the attack key to enter the targeting mode, then left-click the ground to confirm your target location.
A is the attack key on the keyboard, so I will press A, and that will give me an attack cursor. And now I'll click the location on the ground where I want the Marine to move. On his way there, he will
press the attack key to enter targeting mode, then left-click the ground at the highlighted area to confirm your target location.
Yes, thank you. He will automatically engage any enemy forces he finds along the way.
That's fine.
That's it, Commander. I have noted your ability to follow basic instructions. The minimap will reveal an overview of the battlefield. It is located in the bottom left section of the screen. You may adjust your view of the battlefield anytime by moving your mouse to the edges of the screen. Drop. Hostile units detected. I will send you additional reinforcements. You can also left-click the minimap to change your view of the battlefield. Left-click the highlighted area on the map now to view your reinforcements.
So we've learned how to move the camera by moving our mouse.
Please use the minimap to adjust the camera's position.
You got it, Adjutant. Thank you. They're trying to teach you how to use the minimap here.
Left-click on the minimap to... Very good, Commander. Your aptitude scores have exceeded the current average. You will need to select all of your Marines before engaging the hostile units. Left-click and hold to drag a box around your units. This will result in their selection.
Hold, then drag mouse.
This better be good.
The Dominion prizes cooperation. You may order a group of units in the same manner you would order an individual. Issue an attack move command to your Marines by pressing the attack key, then left-clicking the ground to confirm your target location.
We've done this before.
Got it.
Your completion of this exercise has placed you in the 90th percentile of all Dominion recruits. Receiving transmission. Command simulation terminated.
Listen up. We've got a situation that needs a commander, and you're the best recruit we've seen for months. What do you say? Ready for some field experience?
Stage 2, Field Duty. It's trying to tell you here, and I've never done this tutorial before, I don't think, anyway, so this is kind of new to me as well. Stage 2, Field Duty. It's showing you what SCVs are. They gather resources and build Terran structures. We're also going to be familiarized with the Command Center, which is the primary Terran structure for any base, and it trains SCVs. Marines, we've already seen those. These are basic combat units. They're trained at the barracks, which is another structure shown here, the Terran production structure that trains Marines and other infantry units later. And we have supply depots, which increases our supply. All living units cost supply. All military units of any kind. Most units cost supply. So the bigger your army gets, the more supply depots you will need. Alright, we're moving on to Stage 2, Field Duty.
Welcome to Taurus 4. Not my favorite planet in the sector. Some of our science officers went out looking for Protoss artifacts last week. and those eggheads haven't returned yet. It can get ugly out there. I need you to establish a base and send out a search party. Your command center's landing now. You're gonna need some SCVs to handle your mining and construction. We're low on stored minerals, so let's get the SCVs gathering them.
You'll want to grab the entire group of SCVs by dragging a box around them first.
In the rear with the gear.
And then you order them to right-click to order them to gather these minerals.
Left click.
Gotcha.
Look at them go. They'll keep mining until you tell them to stop. Must think they're getting paid overtime. Check the top right corner of your screen to see how many minerals you've stockpiled. We're gonna need more SCVs to get all the minerals we need. You can train them up at the command center.
Left-click to select the command center. Down here, we see a button for training SCVs. We will click it to train an SCV now.
You're getting the hang of this. SCVs take time to get ready, but you can queue up some more while we wait. We'll need 12 SCVs to mine efficiently here. I'll even set up an objective for you at the top left of your screen so you can track your progress. Don't bother thanking me.
Get accustomed to seeing these objectives in your missions. If you play the single-player campaign, that is, and some of the multiplayer stuff, I think, as well.
All right. Now left-click the Train SCV button to create a new SCV.
We've already done it by clicking, but you'll notice that there's an S in the top left of that button. If I just tap the S key on my keyboard, an SCV is being trained, as we can see here in the command card in the middle of the screen there. Now, he did mention that we could queue up SCVs, so if I press S again, a second SCV will be queued up. When this one is finished, the second one will begin training immediately.
SCV ready.
And we can queue up as many as we need. We're going to need to train up 12 SCVs for our main objective here. So let's go ahead and do that.
SCV ready.
Nothing's free out here. Everyone on this base costs us a certain amount of supplies. Up in the top right corner of your screen, you'll see the current supply amount and its limits. Reach the limit, and we can't train anyone else. Good news is that SCVs can set up supply depots to increase our limit. Go on and order an SCV to build a supply depot.
Notice how we are at 11 of 11 supply. This is all that our command center alone can accommodate. So we will click a single SCV, even while he's working, and right-click him away from the mineral line.
Click the Build Structures button to bring up the Build menu.
We can click the Build Structures button, but it's better to get in the habit of pressing the hotkey, which is B.
Click the Build Supply Depot button.
Again, this can be clicked, or we can press the S key, as we see in the top left.
Left-click the ground to confirm the building site.
We can click anywhere that we want to drop it as long as the wireframe here is green, but we'll place it where it asks us to.
All right. He'll be busy until the depot's finished, but after that, you can assign him a new task.
Roger that. As a side note, notice how if I queue up multiple SCVs in the command center, of course none are training because we don't have the supply depot finished yet, but if we click these in the queue, they are removed from queue.
Looks like that SCV's all done, but we don't have break times here. Let's get him back to mining.
It's very good practice to not have any idle SCVs or workers of any kind, so I will click the SCV to select him and right-click on the mineral line to get him working again.
That's right. Good. Those are all the SCVs we need. Next thing we're gonna need is a barracks to train our troops for combat. Select an SCV and order him to start building one.
We already have an SCV selected, the one we just ordered back to work, so let's just go ahead and pull him off the mineral line again by right-clicking. And I'll press B to build again, and this time the new structure we're instructed to build
Click the Build Barracks button.
is a barracks. So I will press B to build this barracks rather than click the button.
Left-click the ground where you want to place it.
I'm going.
Notice there is a blue bar that fills up above the barracks to indicate how long it's going to take to finish. Once again, we're going to want to grab this SCV when he's done and move him back to the mineral line.
That's a good-looking barracks, if I say so myself. Let's start training some Marines. We'll need 5 of them before we push out. Your objective has been updated so you can keep track.
Roger that. The main objective has been updated. Train 5 Marines at the barracks. Left-click to select the barracks, and then again we can press the Train Marine button, or press the A hotkey.
Select the barracks.
That's going to begin training a Marine. But just like the command center, the barracks has a queue that you can utilize. So I'll press A 4 more times.
Go, go, go!
A Marine has been trained. Just like in the tutorial, or in the earlier part of the tutorial, we can click him and move him around.
Been waiting on you. Gangway, coming through.
Same with this one.
Give me orders?
Or we can group them by selecting them in a box.
By the numbers, boys. You want a piece of me, boy? Armed and ready. Yes, sir. Who wants some?
Now that I have a group selected, if I want to add just a single other unit, I can hold Shift on my keyboard and then click that unit.
You gonna give me orders?
You'll be promoted in no time if you keep this up. Let's get those Marines on the move. Time to find those missing scientists. Select your Marines and order them to head to the bridge.
Will do.
Easy enough. By this point, you are probably more than familiar with right-clicking to move.
Hold on, Commander. I'm receiving some intel from our scanner suite. It's detecting Zerg biosignatures in this area. We're gonna have to be real careful with this one. Use your attack move command while exploring. Then your Marines will be on their guard if they come across enemies.
It's a fantastic way to move your forces, is the attack move option. Sometimes you don't want to use attack move, but we won't get into that now. But in this case, we do.
Outstanding.
Our Marines will engage these Zerglings and clear them out as they move to their objective. We need to get here, so we're going to press the A key to attack move again, and we're just going to click in the objective. So our Marines will move right there after they're finished with combat.
There's no time.
Why not? By the numbers, boys.
Well, there's our scientists. What's left of them. I'd better let HQ know about this. Hold here and wait for further orders.
Stage 3, Infestation. It looks like we're going to get a little bit of tutorial on playing as Zerg. Zerg function a little bit differently, quite differently, from Terran. They have a hatchery, which is the primary production structure of the Zerg base, like a command center, sort of, except this is also where units come from. We have overlords as well. Zerg do not build supply depots to increase their supply to increase their army. Zerg spawn overlords, which add supply. Zerglings are similar to the Marine in that they are military units. They are the first military units that Zerg can produce. They are melee, they are basic combat units, and they are morphed from larvae, which are these little critters down here that they spawn from the hatchery periodically. You can morph any Zerg, well, almost any Zerg unit from larvae. We've also got drones, which serve the same function as SCVs, in which they harvest minerals and gas, and they also mutate into Zerg structures. SCVs will build structures, but drones mutate into them. And then we have the spawning pool, which allows larvae to morph into Zerglings simply by having it constructed or mutated. So let's get started. Stage 3, Infestation.
A new minion. I am your brood mother, and you will serve me to the death. First, you will make the Terrans suffer for their interference on this planet. I will join you soon with reinforcements. Prepare this hive cluster for my arrival. The hatchery is the heart of our hive cluster. It automatically spawns new larvae over time. We can then morph these larvae into more useful forms. You are low on supply, and your swarm cannot grow. Morph a larva into an overlord to increase your supply.
To do so, we'll select this hatchery, and then we'll need to select our larva. We can click on the Select Larva button. We can manually click on larva if we want to.
Morph to overlord button to begin the hatchery, then click the Select Larva button.
By selecting a larva manually like that, I seem to have caused 2 different sound bites to play. In any case, we can select larva individual if we want to, but that's not the best practice. Select
To evolve an overlord. First, select the hatchery, then click the select larva button.
We've selected the hatchery, and now we're going to select larva either by clicking this button or hitting the S hotkey.
Click the morph to overlord button to begin the mutation.
Again, you see the V hotkey. I will be using the V hotkey. Again, if you're brand new to StarCraft, feel free to click.
Yes, as your swarm grows in number, you will need to continue to morph overlords to increase your supply.
I actually clicked instead of used the hotkey like I said, but same goal accomplished.
Your hatchery has birthed more larvae. Morph them into drones, and we shall grow your hive cluster.
The hatchery is automatically producing larvae at a steady rate up to a maximum of 3. So I'll select the hatchery, and I will select my larva again.
Now have 2 larvae selected. Click the morph into drone button twice to make both of them into drones.
Clicking this once will morph one of these larvae into a drone. Clicking it a second time will morph the other.
Good. Drones harvest resources and mutate into structures according to our needs. If you are to conquer this planet, you will require an army. But before you can create one, you will need a spawning pool. Order a drone to mutate into one now.
Let's select a single drone that is working. Right-click it off of the mineral line, just as we did the SCV who needed to build supply depots or barracks. And again, we will press B or click on the basic mutation button.
Click the mutate into spawning pool button.
And similar to the barracks, we're going to click it.
Left-click on the ground to place it. Mutating a drone into a structure is permanent. Remember to morph more drones to account for this loss.
The drone doesn't finish its job here and then go back to working. This drone is morphing into this structure, which is essentially a giant organ for the base, or the hive cluster.
That spawning pool looks noxious and fetid. Good. Now morph your larva into zerglings.
Our main objectives have changed. We need to morph zerglings now, so we're going to select the hatchery, and again select our larva. And now we have zerglings available to us. So we're going to morph up 3
Click
zerglings.
the morph to zergling button to create zerglings. Each larva will become 2 zerglings. Their strength comes from their numbers.
So one very interesting and unique thing about zerglings is that 2 come from a single egg.
Now I shall instruct you how to morph more advanced minions. But to do so, you will require Vespene gas. Ah, there is a Vespene geyser nearby. Excellent. First, you must order a drone to morph into an extractor above the geyser.
Selecting any drone is fine, and then we're going to hit B and then E to mutate into an extractor, or we'll just click it.
Once that is finished, other drones will be able to harvest gas from it.
So we'll wait for this drone to mutate into an extractor here, and that will allow us to harvest some more Vespene, or harvest Vespene.
You will require 3 drones to harvest Vespene gas from the extractor efficiently.
I will click on one drone, and then I will hold Shift, and then click on another and another. That selects 3 drones, and then I'm just going to right-click them all to the extractor.
Select a drone. Yes. The amount of gas you have gathered is shown in the top right corner. You are ready to strengthen your brood. A roach warren will allow you to morph stronger creatures.
Select a drone, build a structure, and then select the roach warren.
I see your mind is also Evolving.
She's basically trying to say we're getting better at this. Notice our number of drones is decreasing. In an actual game, you would want to replenish your drone count so that your economy does not suffer.
Your roach warren is ready. You may begin morphing roaches.
Select the hatchery, select larva, and then train up roaches. I'm going to train 3, because that's what the objective says to do. Well,
Click the morphed. Roaches are bred to absorb damage. Their fortitude will help you conquer this world.
I was going to do it because I wanted to train 3. It turned out that the objective was morph 3 roaches. And here we have them.
You are ready to command my brood. Do not disappoint me.
Press F2 to select all units in your army, and we'll see it above the minimap here. This button is available. You can click on this button, or you can press F2 on your keyboard. I'll press F2 on the keyboard.
Select your forces. Let the Terrans tremble before us.
Now, just like with the Marines, we're going to attack move in this direction by pressing A and then clicking on the ground.
Surge! Unleash hell, Marine!
Fight on. Bring their base to ruin.
This arrow is saying for us to move our mouse in this location so that we can move in that direction and keep moving. We're going to keep attack moving.
Finish them. Destroy their base.
Into their base we go.
They're everywhere!
This is the 21st Assault Division on Taurus 4. We are under attack by the Zerg. Do you read me? Immediate evac requested. We need...
The Zerg have claimed this world and all of it.
Stage 4, Retaliation. This is going to be the Protoss tutorial. Like the Terran and Zerg forces, Protoss have a central structure called the Nexus. This one warps in probes. Probes are the workers of the Protoss force, gathering minerals, Vespene gas, and building structures. Pylons increase supply, just like supply depots or overlords, and they also power nearby Protoss structures. Gateways serve a similar function as to the barracks and spawning pool, in that they allow the production of the Protoss's first military units, Zealots, and Zealots are a powerful frontline military melee unit.
Heed me, warriors. We have intercepted a Terran distress signal from Taurus 4. The Zerg have invaded the planet. We shall not let this stand. We must eradicate the enemy at once. The Terran transmission originated at these coordinates. It appears their warriors have already been infested by the Zerg. We must give them peace in death.
In this mission, we're given some units to start, without a base. Main objectives: destroy infested Terrans. We'll attack move to this location.
I serve. For now, please kill me.
Infested Terrans are begging for mercy here. In this case, slaying them is mercy.
Our forces are protected by their shields. They will regenerate quickly unless they take further damage. We have to go further. I must know how far the Zerg infestation is spread.
Yes, take note of Protoss units having 2 bars to indicate their shields and their hit points. Shields will regenerate over time. Hit points will not. For our Protoss unit.
Forward, my forces. We shall see what lies ahead. For the reckoning.
We're using that familiar attack move to get around here.
Intriguing.
Wow, look at all these eggs.
It is as I feared. This world is consumed. I shall need the Golden Armada's aid to cleanse it. We will soon be outnumbered by the Zerg. We must fall back to safety.
if at any point, for whatever reason, like say you click on one of these eggs to check it out, or any of these units, you lose control of your army, just drag another box around them to select them.
We must retreat to a secure location. Our stalkers should be able to cross the debris by using the blink ability.
When doing something like this, it's a good idea to get your stalkers snug up against whatever obstacle you're trying to blink
Cross
over.
the fallen rocks using the blink ability.
You can click B and then click the location, or you can click the button and then click on the location, or you can press B on the keyboard and then click.
These structures were abandoned long ago, but we can reactivate them and hold here until the Armada arrives.
Probes are automatically getting to work.
Our gateways need a pylon to power them. Order a probe to warp in a pylon nearby.
We'll select a probe, pull them off the mineral line, and now we're going to build a pylon by pressing B or clicking this button, and then selecting the pylon and clicking it or pressing E to build.
Left-click the ground near your gate. Pylons will power any nearby structures and provide supply for our forces. Our probes are highly efficient. We can reassign them to other tasks after they have initiated the warp process.
Probes do not need to stick around to build a structure. Once a structure is warping in, the probe can get right back to work.
The gateways are now active. Let us use them to warp in zealots.
We'll select a gateway, and then press Z or click this button to warp in a zealot. We have two structures available to us in this case, so we'll select the other one as well and press Z.
We require more zealots to hold this ground. Warp them in from the gateways, now!
So now we're making use of two production structures at once, to double our production.
Highlight for iron.
We'll keep doing this until we've trained up a total of 4 zealots. This should be enough.
Highlight for iron. Orange Shisa. Honor guides me. Ula Sada. Highlight for iron. We are the blades of iron.
We'll wait for this 4th one.
Highlight for iron.
Excellent. We now have enough zealots. But we cannot withstand the fight ahead without additional stalkers. We will require a cybernetics core in order to warp them in.
You guessed it! We'll be clicking a probe, pressing B or clicking the build button, and selecting the cybernetics core. In this case, we're going to need to place it inside the power field of a pylon.
Left-click the ground. Fine work. Stalkers will help us put an end to those Zerg.
We'll wait patiently for this cybernetics core to finish. Once it does finish, the gateways will be able to produce stalkers, the units we've already become a little bit familiar with.
Well done. Initiate warp sequences for the stalkers at our gateways.
Stalkers now become available. You can select both gateways at the same time, just like selecting units. By dragging boxes around them? No, that won't work actually. You can click on a gateway and hold shift and then click on another gateway.
More stalkers. Warp them in from the gateways.
By holding shift and clicking, I've selected both gateways. Now I can press the stalker button twice, and you'll notice down here in the command card, there's a little white box filled in among 4 other gray boxes. That means both of these structures are training up stalkers right now. If we select an individual gateway, we'll see that it is training up a stalker. And you got a little blue bar above each one to show you how far along they are. So we're training in 2 stalkers at the same time now.
We have enough stalkers to proceed, but we must still be cautious, brothers. The Zerg approach our nexus point. Warriors, ready your blades!
The enemy is breaking through. We must hold.
Bring your zealots up front. Oh, move order warning. Units that are issued a move command will not fight back. Issue an attack order now to allow them to engage in combat. Got that. There we go. We've got our zealots selected first. They are the frontline units of this force, and this is just my own little bit to add to this tutorial. If you select the zealots first and then move them in before the stalkers, they'll protect the stalkers by keeping the zerglings busy, while the stalkers fire over them, or past them, to get to the zerglings. Your units cannot hurt your other units, for the most part. There are some that can, like siege tanks later on, but in this case, we don't need to worry about that. So we've got the zealots selected, and we're going to attack move them past the zerglings, so that they'll engage first.
has brought us victory, my warriors. The Golden Armada has arrived. Darkness.
We are the swarm, numberless, merciless.
Initiating mass recall.
Weaklings, you retreat in the face of battle.
No, we strike as one.
The tremendous power of the Golden Armada. And yet, even with all that power, it's still incredibly difficult to stop the Zerg. They themselves are very fierce, very tenacious, numberless. The Terrans have their fair share of power as well, a great deal of it. In any case, that seems to be the tutorial. I don't think that there's any kind of, hey, you did the tutorial, now you can play, because I think we see replay now. So we've got the 4 basic stages of the tutorial: basic training, field duty, infestation, and retaliation. Once you're done with those, you're effectively done with the tutorial of the game. So let's go ahead and exit this. And now, in the multiplayer tab, if you're not already here, you can click here, and then click on training. We'll begin training in the next video. I'm not sure whether I'm going to do Terran, Zerg, or Protoss, or some combination of all 3, or what have you. We'll figure it out at the start of the next video. If you have any kind of recommendations on that, leave a comment below. Of course, if you're viewing this video long after it's already been uploaded and the next one has not come out yet, then of course whatever comments you leave I won't be able to take those into consideration, because it's going to be something that I would have to have taken consideration into the past, or in the past is what you said, but that's all common sense. In any case, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you're interested in trying out Starcraft, I'm hoping this series will give you a little bit of a boost, a little bit of a confidence boost as into trying it out. You can start off with that tutorial, and like I said, in the next video in this series, we're going to jump into training, and eventually, I want to get all the way to the point where we're doing tournaments in this series. Yeah, we're going to go all the way through training, all the way through versus AI, unranked, do a little bit of ranked play, and eventually get to doing some tournaments in this series, just so you can see the entire learning curve of getting involved into multiplayer StarCraft. So if you wanted to get started right now, I'd strongly recommend it. Legacy of the Void, the 3rd expansion, or the 2nd expansion, or 3rd installment of StarCraft 2, has recently been released, so now is a very good time to jump in if that is something you have been interested in. In any case, thanks a lot for watching, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.